What is going on, guys? It's your boy Kaze Beat here from KazeBeat.com, and I've got another episode of Gem Talk for you. First off, I want to apologize for being a little bit inconsistent with the Gem Talk series. I know that I said that I was going to post a video every Wednesday, but it's kind of been hard to keep up right now just because of a lot of family things. Like, there have been a bunch of birthdays, and a lot of my weekends are kind of taken up because that's when I do a lot of my recording. But hopefully this month I'm still going to be recording and putting up a video at least once a week. If you're new to the channel and you want to become a part of the Kame House, then hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for the algorithm, and I will love you long time. If you're pretty observant, you may have noticed that this video is about ads. However, disclaimer, this video is not going to teach you about ads. It's going to teach you about the 3 biggest mistakes I made when starting out on ads. So far in my experience, I've spent over $1,000, which isn't much as far as ads go, but $1,000 was enough for me to actually collect a decent amount of data, run a bunch of experiments, and kind of learn from the mistakes that I made in the past. So that's why I feel comfortable at this point telling you my journey and the things that I've learned along the way. Using Facebook ads is one of those things that you literally have to put time and effort to make any progress with it. You can watch as many videos as you'd like on YouTube, but you're not going to find a surefire way to find success with your ads because there are just so many variables that go into it. Now, I will say there are plenty of videos that you can watch that will aid you in how to test and collect data. I think that's some of the most valuable content and types of videos that you can watch regarding ads because they're going to show you how to collect data the right way and to collect data with spending the least amount of money. I've actually linked down in the description one guy that I like to follow for looking up testing methods. His name is Pearson. He has nothing to do in the music industry. He's actually just a drop shipper, but I find that drop shippers really understand how e-commerce and how ads work, so I try to learn what I can about ads testing from them. There really is no easy solution like spending $1 a day and getting sales from that. When I first started out ads, I kind of had that mindset. I believed it to be that way. So like I said, my whole goal here is just to steer you away from the mistakes that I made when I was a newbie, when I was starting out. First mistake that I was making is promoting posts through Instagram and not running ads through the Facebook Ads Manager. For those who don't really know the difference, promoting a post through Instagram is done so by clicking on your post, looking underneath it, and clicking on the big blue button that says Promote Post. It's right next to where you can view your insights. The problem with promoting your Instagram posts is that you don't have nearly as much control with your targeting as you would if you decided to run an ad through the Facebook Ads Manager. If you're still confused about this, let me explain. Since Facebook owns Instagram, you can use Facebook's Ads Manager platform, which goes into a lot more detail and you have a lot more options to choose who you're sending your ads to. And from the Facebook Ads Manager, you can promote directly to the Instagram app. So you can show your content to only Instagram users, and you can also show content to Facebook users if that works for you as well. So just think of it as the Facebook Ads Manager is like the source. It's like the OG. It's where you should do everything. Don't simply promote it from the Instagram promotion app because my experience has not shown very great returns with it. This leads me into the second mistake, which is not paying attention to where you're placing your ads. Looking back at my Ads Manager page, when you go to create your first ad, by default, your placements will be on automatic placements, which is recommended. I did that for the longest time, so that meant that my ads were being sent to every place possible on Facebook. It includes weird things like the Messenger. I don't even know how Messenger ads work. I've never seen them myself. It includes the Facebook Marketplace. I don't really know if people are trying to buy beats on the Facebook Marketplace. Also everywhere on Instagram and a few other options. When I go to click on manual placements, you'll see all the potential places that my ad's gonna get sent to. Platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, Messenger, feeds, stories, in-stream, search, messages, in article, everywhere. This may seem like a good idea on the surface because you're sending out your ad to as many people as possible, but the trick is to get the most out of your money as you possibly can. There are a couple of reasons why you would not want to use automatic placements. If you're like me and you use Instagram as your main platform, it wouldn't make any sense to send your advertisement to people on Facebook because that person who is potentially interested will look at your profile and probably see that there's not much activity or really anything that they can interact with, so you may end up losing that lead. The other thing is that different placements will actually vary in how much it costs to get someone to click on your link. Think of it this way, I'm actually going to pull up my pen and draw a little diagram to hopefully make this a little bit more clear. Let's say that I've allotted myself to use $10 per day on advertisements. If I have automatic placements on, that means my $10 is going to be sent to all these different places. choices, right? And a general rule of thumb is that your money is going to be split up as evenly as possible. There are ways to actually adjust and vary this. Just for the sake of this picture, we'll say that it's all split up evenly. So let's say that this placement right here is the Facebook Marketplace. And over here, we're going to have just your IG post feed or news feed. As I mentioned before, the cost of getting someone to actually click on your link and view your content is going to be different. So let's go to Facebook Market, and we see that it costs about 50 cents to get someone to click on your link versus your IG feed placement, which you find it costs 6 cents to get someone to click on your link. If we assume that our ad is being sent out to 10 different placements, then we can say that each placement is going to get $1. If it is costing me 50 cents in the Facebook Marketplace to get someone to click on my link, that means I'm potentially going to get 2 clicks, whereas on the IG feed where it costs 6 cents per link click, I'm going to build a whole lot more traffic sending money in that direction. I drew this diagram to break down the point that you will get the most out of your money if you focus on only a handful of placements that you know will work. Going back to the ads manager, I'm getting rid of Facebook, Audience Network, Messenger, and I'm leaving it only on Instagram. Instagram Feed, Instagram Explore, and Instagram Stories. Those are the only placements that I'm sending my money towards. When I made this switch, my average session duration, which is pretty much how long someone spends my website, it went from 8 seconds to 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I knew that making that switch meant that I was drawing in the right kinds of people who actually wanted to go through, listen to my beats, and potentially buy something. Third mistake that I made was not using the right type of content and pairing it with the right audience. When I first started promoting my beat videos, I would use very generalized audiences like people who are interested in A$AP Rocky or people who like the fan page for Big Sean. This by itself isn't necessarily a wrong move because if you have no data points to start from, you have to begin collecting data somewhere. So you start with a very generalized group of people and group of interests, and you just slowly collect data, crunch it down, and keep refining it. My overall goal with promoting this content was to sell more beats, right? But I think the problem with promoting that kind of video is that it drew interest from people who were producers, people outside of the music industry, people who just like listening to hip hop. Once I generated a decent amount of traffic going to visit my website, I created a lookalike audience based on the people who went to my website. For those who don't know, a lookalike audience is a group of people who are generated based on the characteristics of the people who have interacted with your content, or in my case, went to go visit my website. Lookalike audiences are still considered cold traffic, which is just the marketing term for people who have never seen you before and people who have never interacted with your brand before. However, lookalike audiences have a higher chance of actually interacting with your content because of those similarities and data points that were collected in the past. By this point, you can probably see how useful this is. The more data you collect, the more specific that you can make your audiences and the more that you can optimize them. Eventually, I had about 90 days worth of data about people who visited my website. After I had all this data, I tried to launch a retargeting campaign, which is much more specific. It's actually an ad that is sent to people who specifically went to your website. So we're no longer using lookalike audience. So that whole campaign was a big giant flop. I had a lot of people that had visited my website, but they weren't the right kind of people. I realized that the problem came from the start. The content that I was promoting to rappers wasn't really enticing to rappers. But that leads me to think that anyone who went from the ad to my website really was not interested in buying beats in the first place. And when I started making lookalike audiences based on that data, I was pretty much just setting myself up for failure. I think what would have performed a lot better was creating a video introducing myself, who I am, what I do, that I'm a music producer, my experiences, and how I could potentially serve an artist. Another point that I want to make is that there are so many different types of audiences you can use to your advantage. I'm not going to get into detail with them here, but if you'd like a more in-depth video on any of these topics that I covered, just let me know, put it down in the comments, and I can potentially start gathering some ideas to help teach you guys. A quick gem that I want to drop for you guys is something that's been working really well for me lately. When it comes to lookalike audiences, I actually create mine using an email list that I have. I have about 300 people on file, and Facebook actually has this feature where you can import your contacts into the Facebook Ads Manager and create a lookalike audience based on all the characteristics of those people on your email list. And I've been finding a lot of success. I've definitely been converting a lot more using these lookalike audiences. If you want to know how to import your email list, I've linked a video down in the description that you can click on and learn for yourself. There you go. Those are my 3 biggest mistakes that I've made. That being said, I want to apologize if there were for a lot of terms that I threw out here that you're not familiar with. Running advertisements is a pretty deep process if you can't tell already, and I would love to go more into detail or help out anyone who has questions. Or if you want to talk to me one-on-one, just send me a DM on Instagram and I promise I will get back to you. Just to recap a few points. Make sure you have your Facebook pixel set up. This process takes a lot of trial and error and you have to collect a lot of data, so don't expect to run your ads at $1 a day and receive sales just from that. Use the Facebook Ads Manager instead of simply promoting your posts through Instagram. Ensure that you're paying attention to where your ads are actually being sent to. In my experience, Instagram performs the best, it converts the best for me. I only send my money to Instagram Stories, Instagram Feed, and the Instagram Explore page. Lastly, understand the type of audiences that you're creating with the kind of content that you're promoting. If you found any of this remotely helpful or remotely interesting, I really appreciate a subscribe if you have not yet, a like button to help the algorithm gods, or even just dropping a gloss in the comments to let me know that I'm doing a good job. As always, guys, I thank you so much for your time, patience, and attention, and I will see you soon. Peace.